Hello agents and welcome to Shadow Gaming. So today I wanted to show you guys my absolute favorite skill damage build for Title Update 12. And of course for any skill damage build, I really do think Turret and Drone deals the most damage with sustainability, so I'm going to go with that. I normally see a lot of creators using Glass Cannon on their chest piece or even the Sacrifice with Perfect Glass Cannon, and I personally hate Glass Cannon, especially for what I use these skill damage builds for. For me, they're intended to clear the most difficult of content. That's Heroic with all directives on, and Legendary with all directives on as well. While Glass Cannon overall can deal a little bit more amplified damage than Kinetic Momentum, I really just don't see enough of an increase in damage to actually run it. But anyway, before we get started, if you enjoyed this video, please consider pressing those subscribe and like buttons below, and if you didn't, a thumbs down. And if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to comment below, otherwise let's get this build video started. But real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Diving. This service is actually really cool. If you don't have the time to grind out the massive amount of great gear and weapons in this game, Diving.net has the perfect service for you. They got everything: the Eagle Bearer, the Regulus, and the Ravenous combo, SHD watch levels, summit floors, hunter masks, just about everything you can grind for in this game without exploits, cheats, or hacks. Just account sharing, so this works on all platforms. If I didn't trust these guys, I would not be sponsoring them in my video right now, so if you need some help boosting your character and getting some of those overly difficult to get exotics, go ahead and click the link in the pinned comment below and make sure to use my promo code SHADOW for a 15% discount on your first order after you add your order to the cart. Once again, thank you to Diving.net for sponsoring this video. Now let's go ahead and get this build started. Alright guys, so skill damage build, starting off with the specialization. Of course you're going to want to run Technician, right? I mean, there's so many reasons why you want to run this. So starting off with a few cool perks, your armor kit applies to all friendly skill proxies within 10 meters. Get plus 12% damage to drones, skill proxies, and robotics, and you also get 10% skill damage as well. You also get a free skill tier with this as well, so keep that in mind. You can also roll weapon damage or 170k armor roll on one of your main cores, and you will still technically have 6 skill tiers in total, so keep that in mind if you want to mess with this build a little bit more. And that's pretty much the only reasons I use this, so now let's move on to the main build overview. Alright guys, so here's the entire main build overview. We're running the Capacitator, the new exotic assault rifle you can get from the summit, and then of course we're running 3 pieces of Empress International, a new brand set from Title Update 12, and you could run 2 pieces of Hana-U or 1 piece Hana-U like I am, and 1 piece of Wyvernware with the new exotic waveform holster. Now let's get started with the weapons first and why we use them. So the Capacitator is an amazing new exotic in this game. Now how you get it is you just go to Summit, you go to the main Mega Map menu, go to Challenges on your left, and you'll see a list of challenges. What you do is just go through them, select whichever one you want to do. I personally did 30 skill kills, 30 headshot kills. I got it done in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It was actually pretty fast and easy to do. And then of course, you want to run this because it just deals so much skill damage and weapon damage, and it's an assault rifle as well, so it's really perfect for running with perfect combined arms. Now overall, Capacitacence, or however you pronounce this talent is absolutely great, right? So shooting enemies builds stacks to a cap of 40, so each stack grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds, stacks decay 1 per second. Now think about that. That's 60% skill damage right there, and the talent isn't even done yet. For each battery skill tier gain, you have 7.5% weapon damage. What's that? A total of 45% weapon damage on top of 60% skill damage. And that's of course maxed out at the cap, which you can keep going. I mean, really, I rarely ever see it decay below 40 or 30. So I can manage to keep this up quite a bit. It rarely ever decays for me, so keep that in mind. Now, of course, my backup is the Harmony named rifle. This is absolutely amazing to run, right? Because I run this with a lot of directives on. I run it on legendary content as well. So you're going to run out of ammo fairly quickly with this Capacitator. It's an assault rifle. It has a decent RPM of 700, so you're going to run out of ammo with it eventually. Now, without the directives on, I never run out of ammo with it, but with the directives on, I do, and I often need to switch to this Harmony rifle. And that's because it has perfectly in sync. Hitting an enemy grants 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. You also get 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds if you're using a skill or damaging an enemy with a skill. and both of those damages are doubled when your both buffs are active, which most of the time they are. You're running a turret and a drone, they're always shooting the enemy. So keep that in mind, this is definitely worth getting. And of course, you know, I do daily farming guide videos every morning around 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to check those out, I go over what's in the vendors as well. So the DZ West this week at the moment of recording does have a Harmony rifle for 152 DZ resources. And then lastly, you wouldn't think this is that important, but we do have the card custom pistol, and I like to roll this with NSYNC on it. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, I really use this for the most difficult content in the game, and that usually involves throwing directives on it. Now, if I ever run out of ammo, I really am glad I have this pistol because it has NSYNC on it. It's going to get me at least 30% weapon damage and 30% skill damage overall when I'm hitting everyone with the turret and drone. And of course, that's just, it's not as good as the 60% from Capacitator, but if you don't have any ammo, it's better than nothing, right? Alright guys, so on to the main build, alright? I'll go over each piece, what I roll on it and everything, but, you know, 3-piece Empress, I'll start with that, right? The mask. So I use Empress because the skill health, you know, I don't really care too much about it, of course, but the 10% skill damage I do, and the 10% skill efficiency I really care about. Now, 10% skill efficiency is really good. I mean, every 1% of skill efficiency, you get 1% of skill damage, skill haste, skill repair, and skill duration. So overall, we're getting 10% of all 4 of those. So that's going to be the reason I really want to run at least 3 pieces of those. And for everything else, I just roll skill damage and skill haste on. And if you want, you can roll a weapon damage or a armor core instead of a skill tier, since technically we get a 6 skill tier free from the technician specialization. Alright guys, next up, I'm just kind of going to go over the main pieces, right? So the chest piece, I definitely like to run either 2 pieces of Hana-Yu or 1 piece of Wyvernware. It still gives you the 10% skill damage, so it's up to whatever piece you have. Now, like I said, roll skill damage and skill haste on it, and what I want to run on this is kinetic momentum. I do not want to be running glass cannon. Now, I've seen some discussion and videos on why, you know, kinetic momentum is a little bit better than glass cannon, and I've been using kinetic momentum for a long time, and I already knew why. Overall, this talent is kind of deceiving. It kind of leads you to believe that you get 15% per skill, but you actually get 30% skill damage per skill. So overall, you're going to get 30% skill damage, which is a little bit more than, you know, regular glass cannon gives you, and I think that makes it much more worth it. Now, of course, glass cannon is going to increase the damage on your capacitator, you know, your main weapons and everything else, but I just don't see a big enough of a damage increase to actually be worth it. If you just roll a weapon damage core instead of a skill tier, I think it does just about the same, maybe even more. So that is what I'm going to be working towards this build, is getting a weapon damage core on at least one of these pieces, and then it will be perfect. So keep that in mind when you're rolling for talents. You can use glass cannon if you want to. You know, I've used this piece before as well as an Empress piece with kinetic momentum on it and glass cannon. And overall, I just find that glass cannon just isn't really good because you're taking an amplified 50% damage, and I find myself dead all the time. Now, next up, we got the Force Multiplier Backpack with Perfect Combined Arms. Now, shooting an enemy increases total skill damage by 30% for 3 seconds. You definitely want this on. Now, what you can do if you want to is you could use tech support. Skill kills increase total skill damage by 25% for 20 seconds. But personally, I'm always out there shooting the NPCs, so I might as well be getting 30% skill damage for it. And of course, this is a named backpack, named Hana-Yu backpack. So if you want to grab this, just farm Hana-Yu, target a loot, and eventually one will drop for you. You want it with skill haste and skill damage, just like anything else. As far as the mods go, though, I always like to run a 9% skill duration mod on it. I like to have a little bit more skill duration because the skill haste I just don't think does anything extra. You know, the cooldowns is usually about 17 seconds for the turret, 13 seconds for the drone, one or the other, so I just use skill duration after that. And then really the last thing we got is the Waveform Exotic Holster. I really like this one. Now, you could run it a little bit different than this if you want to. You can of course run Hana-Yu for an extra 10% skill damage, but really I think this is best. You generate a stack of 3% skill damage on one of your skills every second, capping at 10 stacks, so that's giving you a total of 30% skill damage, right? And that's going to stay at the cap for 10 seconds and then process over to the other skill. So you're going to lead up to 30% skill damage on your turret and then transfer it over to your drone. You're going to build up to 30% skill damage, keep it for 10 seconds on your drone, and then transfer it back to your turret. So overall with this build, I'm getting about 150% skill damage with everything, with the waveform, the perfect combined arms, the kinetic momentum. And that's not including all the 10% skill damage rolls and all that stuff, the 10% skill efficiency, that's just from the talents. And of course, with this build, you want to be running the turret and the drone. I always put a damage modifier in there, some extra duration and skill haste. And then for the drone, I put a duration, health, and then damage. Alright agents, well that was my favorite skill damage build. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed my content. If you would like to become a member for support and exclusive perks, you can click the join button below, and thank you to all my members of the channel. You can grab some Shadow Gaming merch as well. All the links will be in the pinned comment and video description below. Take care agents, and be sure to stay tuned for more daily Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care agents.